Hey super builders, welcome back. It's week number 2 and the plan is working marvelously. I actually got a lot of stuff done and Ant hasn't shut down my project just yet, so we're well on track. If you remember, if you want to participate, just use hashtag superbuilders, maybe build on public. So last week we set up our Telegram bot, we listened to the live location changes, and then for this week we wanted to store the live locations in the Superbase PostGIS database using PostGIS. And now actually I can show you this. I managed to get quite a lot of things done. We can now start tracking an event. And so if we go here to our Schema visualizer, you can see, so we're storing, we kind of have a couple tables. We're storing the users, our events, the session. So basically when a user joins an event using kind of an event code, then it creates a session for them. And so we can see here, maybe in our users table. So here you can see I'm in there. Yeah, so if I start and then I put in my event code here, I basically get a session created. So, welcome to test. When you're ready, simply start sharing your live location here. And so we can see, so we're here in our sessions. Maybe I can make this window a bit smaller. You can see here, so we have our sessions, which link to kind of the events and the user ID. What we also can do is I've implemented a command to kind of list all our events. And so in here, we can later also then link out to the page where you can see kind of the live sharing. So like the website with, the real time later on. And so people can follow along kind of the race. So now what we can see is if we share our live location, it will now create these in the locations table here. So you can see that probably, when I refresh the data, we should be seeing, all the things I have to kind of move the phone around for my location to actually change, because it's this like location updated event. And then if we refresh the records, so you see now we have 46 records. So we're basically just dropping the locations in here. We're storing the lat, the long, as well as the location as a geography, so we can work with it in PostGIS later. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, the cool thing is, so here, what I have done, maybe we can look at the SQL a bit, because kind of all the power really is in the SQL. The function doesn't really do that much. So yeah, I have like a generate UID. So this generates kind of our event code. I just use kind of a 10-digit code for our event. So that's kind of how the user can join the event. We have our public users, our public events, and then here our session status, active and complete. Yeah, later on maybe, so need to think about kind of how to complete the sessions. If the user doesn't automatically complete it, maybe you can run like a cron that completes kind of any session that hasn't had any activity in, like 5 minutes or something. Yeah, so here we have our sessions. One thing that was pretty cool that I found out is you can use kind of a partial index to create a unique constraint. So here the unique constraint is that at any one time, any one user should only have one active session. So obviously they can have a lot of, completed sessions, but at any one time they should have only one active session, because that's the session that we attribute the location tracking to. And so you can use this with, you can do this with a partial index, where you then can say, create an index on the user ID where the status is active. And then we're enabling the PostGIS extension. So that's just kind of how we're doing this here. And then we're tracking the locations. We're tracking the lat long as double precision, as kind of floats, mainly because then we can consume it more easily on the real-time side of things. I don't know how, if we can process kind of the geography specifically for real-time, but then we want to have the geography for kind of, post-processing later. And the way this works is we're inserting a point with a long lat. I can show you this in our function. So if we have this here, so for example, I need to refactor this to be more readable. But so for example, here, if we have the edit location, I then just use an RPC function where I put in the user ID, the lat long, and the timestamp. And then we can see here, so this is our location insert. So we're getting the timestamp. What we can do then, pretty cool. So the timestamp is kind of a Unix, Unix timestamp. And so Postgres has a function called toTimestamp to then transform that Unix timestamp into like a date. I think this one here, timestamp with time zone value. And then here we're just putting in the lat long and the st point. And then what's pretty cool is I probably need, want to turn this into a materialized view so that it kind of gets better performance. But for now, we're just creating a view where we group by the event ID and the user ID. So basically, because we're tracking each individual, location points here, we then can turn this into just one entry and like into a make line, right? Because we want to, later on, we want to visualize the path. And so I call this view location paths. And so what we can see is here, out of kind of all of this, we now created this path geometry, which is here the st make line. And what we can do actually, which is quite cool, we can then do this location paths here, where we can turn that path into STS text. Should be good. Okay, we're just missing our semicolon, and then we're getting here the line strings with kind of all our paths. And actually I found a really handy tool here. This guy, maybe we need to shout him out, Arthur, has built this where you can just put in the well-known text. So that is exactly what this does, STS text. So yesterday I was tracking while I was on the bus, kind of going home from the WeWork. We can see here all our location points. So I was taking the bus here from CBD, from the WeWork. Now, one thing that's interesting, there's like periods where we're tracking kind of, a lot of location points. And then there's like this where we only have like a sparsing amount. So I'm not entirely sure if that is like because Telegram, or we're like offline, or we're actually losing points, and like Telegram doesn't handle kind of the coming back online stuff. But yeah, we'll see. I'll do some more tests and kind of see how this works out, and then in the next step we'll get to the real-time tracking. But so yeah, for now, week 2 we've done pretty well. So week 3, let's see. So one thing, I have my race this weekend, so we'll do some testing of this out in the wild. If anyone else is interested in testing this, let me know, and maybe we can get you onboarded, give you an event ID, and see how it turns out. But yeah, early days, but really, really cool kind of what we can do here with PostGIS and, just pure Postgres power. It's really nice. I'll also put in the link to the repository if you want to check out this in more detail. But yeah, that's it for this week. Keep on super building and make sure Ant doesn't shut down your project. And, just ship it. See you next week. Bye-bye.